Hello and welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith and today we head to the Czech Republic and the circuit of Brno for the latest round of the Grand Prix World Series Season 5. It is hotting up in both championships and we can't wait to see what the second half of this season is going to bring. But first off, let's remind ourselves of the championship standings, starting off with League 2 as always. And at the top, Shane van Gisbergen leads the way on 114.7 ahead of Marcus Ericsson in the Lola on 107. Earl Bamber also into triple digits on 100, 20 points ahead of his teammates Joseph Newgarden in the second Jaguar. Nick Tandy putting together a very consistent season so far to be 5th in the championship on 72 points ahead of Julian Anlauer in the Zach Speed on 64. Mitch Evans not racing anymore at this point in the championship, replaced by Brendan Hartley. He is still 7th, however, on 51 points. Yeyefe, a race winner this season on 50, ahead of Jamie Chadwick and Roman De Angelis in the second Lancia, rounding out to the top 10. And in the team standings, Jaguar only 1 point ahead of Ducati and a further 3 ahead of Lola. 4 points separating the top 3 at this point in the championship. And it is going to go right down to the wire between those 3, I imagine. Cupra Kiro on their own in 4th at the moment on 127, ahead of Zach Speed on 98, Lancia on 88, 40 Corsa on 44, Mazda on 32, Pacific on 28, and Ford on 25. And in the bottom 3 positions, Iron Dames, Chip Ganassi, and Toyota hoping to get themselves into double digits today if they can. There are no driver changes to bring you for today's race, so let's head straight to the qualifying results and see who will line up where. And Kalle Rovanperä, having taken pole and the win in his debut last time out at Poznan, has put it on pole position again here in Brno. The Lola putting in a 128.0 to only just beat Nick Tandy's pole position, very close for the Cupra Kiro there, with Jamie Whincup putting both of Ed Hunter's cars into the top 3. A very good qualifying result for the team. How will that convert into their race result today? Julian Anlauer, an impressive 4th for Zach Speed ahead of Marcus Ericsson, 5th in the Lola. Earl Bamber 6th in the Jaguar ahead of Shane van Gisbergen, our championship leader, starting 7th today, ahead of Yeyefe, Roman De Angelis and Joseph Newgarden rounding out to the top 10. Louis Delatraz lines up 11 in the 40 Corsa ahead of Brendan Hartley, 12th in the Ducati. Johnny Adam making his second starts today in the Grand Prix World Series. He lines up 13th ahead of Kamui Kobayashi. Nick Tandy 15th in the Mazda ahead of Carl Kirkwood. And then the 2 Fords of Felipe Drugovich and Zane Maloney 17th and 18th. And rounding out the top 20, Colton Herter and Dorian Pan in the Iron Dames 20th on the grid. And at the back, Shosu Boy in the Mazda ahead of Vaiska Visser in the Iron Dames. And then Callum Ilott, Nick De Vries, Jolyon Palmer and Arvid Lindblad propping up the field here today. So a little bit of a mixed up grid for today's Brno Grand Prix, but how will the race go down? There is only one way to find out, and that's by handing over to our regular commentator Tom Cairns, waiting in the commentary box to get this one underway. So Tom, take it away.
2 poles from 2 for Kalle Rovanperä, but he has the championship protagonist looming in behind, willing to gain some ground on Shane van Gisbergen in the race for the League 2 driver's title. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go in Brno. A super getaway from Nick Tandy. A really poor start from the pole sitter, Kalle Rovanperä, and he's going to be swamped by not only Tandy but also his teammate Marcus Ericsson is doing to second place. A terrific start from the Swede who has got into second position. The man second place in the championship is going for the lead at turn number 3 on the Cupra Kiro. Down the inside goes Marcus Ericsson. And he's through into the lead of the League 2 Brno Grand Prix. Marcus Ericsson leads. Nick Tandy is second. It's Yeyefe who's made an absolutely tremendous start in the Lancia. From 8th on the grid, he's found his way up into 3rd place. Shane van Gisbergen also up to 4th from 7th. It's Rovanperä down to 5th position. Down to 5th from pole position goes Kalle Rovanperä. Not a very good start. This has been the worst we've seen from him since he made his debut last time out in Poznan. Julian Anlauer is in 6th position. Then it's Jamie Whincup in 7th. He's down 4 positions from his starting spot. Earl Bamber is in 8th in the Jaguar. Brendan Hartley is 9th in the Ducati. And in 10th place is the second Jaguar of Joseph Newgarden. Ericsson leading the way then. There's a long way to go. 44 laps of this Brno circuit that hasn't been used since Season 2. But the drivers have got a good gop in it on there goes Van Gisbergen on the inside of Yiafi. That's over at the penultimate turn of the circuit, and he's in behind the Ducati, but Nick Tandy is making the most of the slipstream up the inside at turn 1, as is Van Gisbergen on Yi. Now Van Gisbergen got by, oh no he didn't actually, Van Gisbergen remains behind Yiafi, and out goes Arvid Lindblad on lap 2. It's been a dreadful season for Toyota in their maiden season in the Grand Prix World Series, and it hasn't got any better for them here. Lindblad is out. Suspension problems sidelining the Brit. At least he's learning the ropes of the Grand Prix World Series, and whilst he retired, we saw a lead change. Nick Tandy on the inside of Marcus Ericsson. That's down over at turn number 5, and that's enough for Tandy to go through into the lead again. Yiafi in 3rd place, still ahead of Shane Van Gisbergen. Yiafi's teammate Roman De Angelis is inside the top 10 now, as Joseph Newgon has got down a place into P11. What a fine start for this race, with Nick Tandy snatching the lead there from Ericsson. Kalle Rovanperä has lost 2 more positions since we last spoke about him. He's now behind Julian Andlower and Earl Bamber. And there we see Brendan Hartley in 8th ahead of Jamie Whincup, who continues to lose ground. It may be that Rovanperä and Whincup are 2 of those on heavier fuel loads compared to the others. Whilst Bamber is going through on Andlower, as does Rovanperä. Now is Andlower in trouble here because he's just allowed those 2 through at the same time. It's not good news for Sax Speed or for their team boss, Chris Hosey. Ericsson's got back through again on Tandy at turn 3. Ericsson through into the lead for Lola. Van Gisbergen running in 3rd place now ahead of Yiafi, who locks up, makes a mistake, and the rear wing is gone on the Lancia. So a terrific start from Yiafi has come all undone at the 5th turn of this racetrack, and he falls to the back of the field. So the front wing was gone once he hit the curb, and the rear wing went as well. And it's going to be another long race for Yiafi. It's been a disappointing season for Lancia and for team manager Chris Craveney, who had hoped for a lot more than what he has seen this campaign with both Yiafi and Roman De Angelis. He did pick up a win at Campo Grande thanks to Yiafi in round 2, but hardly anything has gone right for them since then. Right aboard with Nick Cassidy, who's behind the Iron Dames of Biskovica. Ericsson is trying to pull away from Nick Tandy, and there's Brendan Hartley under attack from Joseph Newgarden before the 3rd lap is out. Ericsson leads by a couple of tenths. It's Tandy in 2nd, Van Gisbergen 3rd, and it's Rovanperä, Bamber, Andlower, Whincup, Hartley, Newgarden and De Angelis. There goes what looks like Jamie Whincup on Julian Andlower for 6th position. Yiafi comes into the pits for repairs. It's unlikely he'll be coming away with any points here. And off goes Delachaz in the 40, front wing disintegrated, and it's come out into the path of the Pacific, and it's Delachaz's race who is run. That was a dangerous rejoin, and he could have ended up with a disqualification and a race ban for that. Couldn't see which Pacific it was. I think it was Jolyon Palmer he collided. Here's Jolyon Palmer, who was running in 21st position before he collided with the 40. Palmer lucky to continue there, but he has lost places thanks to that. Delachaz is out, second retirement. And he's lucky that it's only just that and not anything else. He may end up with a grid drop or something, Delachaz, if push comes to shove. Because Palmer did lose positions as a consequence. Yeah, it's a back of the grid penalty for Delachaz. So he'll start for the back of the grid for the next round in Brno. And that's Tandy going for it again on Ericsson for the lead. And I don't think it's going to be too long before Tandy goes back ahead here. Lap number 5, Tandy going for it at turn 1 on Ericsson. Contact further back involving the Ford of Felipe Drogovic and Dorian Pan. And there goes Pan on Drogovic at turn 1. And that's enough for the F1 Academy Championship leader to go through. Tandy on Ericsson on the inside again at turn 5, and that's enough for the Cooper Kiro to go back ahead of the Lola. Cooper Kiro, who have yet to win in the Grand Prix World Series, this is their 11th race. Is Ed Hunter going to celebrate a Grand Prix World Series victory at last? He won his first in the Nations Cup last week. Could be set to do so in the Grand Prix World Series. He has won as a manager a number of races for the Jaguar squad in the Group C Challenge in 2020. He's never tasted success in the Grand Prix World Series. Is the day where he'll celebrate his first win in this championship. Well, there is Jamie Whincup. As we look further back, that's the Chip Ganassi of Kyle Kirkwood, who's got his teammate Colton Herter for company. Kirkwood picked up his first point of the season last time out in Poznan. It'll take some doing for him to pick up anything here. Ericsson's dropped back from Tandy now. Van Gisbergen is closing in. There goes Herter on the inside of Kirkwood, but that move didn't quite come off in the end. Are your top 3. And there are the drivers in 4th, 5th and 6th. Rovanperä, Bamber and Whincup. Usually with a new fast up of the race. On his brand new set of tyres. Maybe you're lucky enough to come away with that by the end of this race, depending on how this one plays out for the rest of the field. Reminder of the standings. Shane van Gisbergen leads by 7 points over Marcus Ericsson. El Bamber is another 7 points back in 3rd place with Joseph Newgarden 34 points off the lead in 4th place. Nick Tandy 5th on 72 points, 52 off the top. If he wins this race, that'll help him in the championship massively. There goes Whincup, attempting to get by Kalle Rovanperä, but not quite able to pull that one off. In the Constructors' Championship, or the Teams' Championship as to say, in League 2, Ducati and Jaguar tie on 180 points each. And it's Lola in 3rd place on 176. And Cooper Kiro, who are their nearest challengers, are on 127 points in 4th position. Jamie Whincup gets by Callum Rovanperä for 5th position. Making up for that poor start is Whincup. Looking at the setups for the teams for this round, we'll begin with Pacific, who have gone for a neutral setup. Sack Speed and 40 have gone for a mid-downforce setup. Lola mid-top speed, Lancia neutral, Ducati mid-top speed, Jaguar maximum top speed, Chip Ganassi mid-downforce, Toyota mid-top speed, IM Dames neutral, Ford and Cooper Kiro have both gone for mid-downforce, Mazda have gone for neutral. Not too far away from the first round of pit stops. Some will be doing the 2, others will be doing the 1. Just 2 retirements so far in this League 2 Brno Grand Prix. Louis Delachaz out after running wide and rejoining into the path of Jolyon Palmer. We'll start from the back of the grid next time out in Brno. We've also had a retirement for Arthur Lindblad in the Toyota. Felipe Drugovich being overtaken by Kyle Kirkwood for 18th position. And there's a battle going on further back between the Toyota of Nick de Vries and the 2 Pacific cars of Callum Ilott and Jolyon Palmer. There goes Palmer on Ilott. That is for 22nd place. We see Nick Tunley in the lead at the moment. Doyen Pan under attack from the Mazda of Zhou Zuboi. As far as the calendar is concerned, we've been to Aruba in the Caribbean, we've been to Campo Grande, Brazil, La Plata, Argentina, Indianapolis, USA, Rockingham, United Kingdom, Dijon-Bourgogne, France, Merode, Spain, Mugello, Italy, Hockenheim, Germany, and Poznan, Poland. Today is Brno in the Czech Republic. And after we've been to Brno, we go to Brno in Estonia, which is the last European round of the season. We go to Marrakesh, Morocco, Kailami, South Africa, and it's to our Asian phase at New Delhi, India, Fuji, Japan, Sepang, Malaysia, and it's off to Australia, to Adelaide for the 18th and final championship round of the season. We've also got the non-championship Macau Grand Prix to follow, involving the 13 highest scoring teams across the 2 leagues. We're on lap 9. Nick Tandy continues to lead for Cooper Kiro. Marcus Ericsson second for Lola, Shane van Gisbergen's third for Ducati. The Kiwi going for his 4th win of the season. There goes Palmer on de Vries for 21st position. In 4th position behind van Gisbergen is Earl Bamber. 5th place is Jamie Whincup, 6th Kalle Rovanperä. Brendan Hartley is 7th in the second Ducati, who picks up his first podium on his return. I say his first podium, he picks up a podium on his return to the Grand Prix World Series and to Sam Hall's team. Julian Anlower is 8th for Zach Speed. Joseph Newgarden is 9th in the second Jaguar. And in 10th place is Johnny Adam in only his second Grand Prix World Series race. He picked up points in his maiden outing in Poznan, did Johnny Adam. 6th place it was. And he's hoping that Zach Speed can get into the fight somewhat for promotion. But they're a long way back from 3rd place Lola, 78 points that is. It's looking most like Cooper Kiro being the team that can stop either Ducati, Jaguar or Lola from going up next season into League One. Marcus running in 2nd place, around about a couple of seconds off Nick Tandy, and Shane van Gisbergen has dropped back from the Lola now. And there goes Cassidy, who gets by, or tried to get by, Ford of St. Maloney. Cassidy again, attempting to get by St. Maloney, but no way through yet for the Mazda. They have not had too much to celebrate this campaign. They did pick up a couple of points lost to Mountain Postland, courtesy of Cassidy, but it's not been like like it was last season when Dome were consistent in terms of pace, but reliability simply wasn't there for them. Shane van Gisbergen in third place for Ducati. Around the board with Joseph Newgarden. Going through on Julian and Lauer. Can he hang it round the outside? By the time they get to the left-hander. What was turn 11. He was able to do it in the end, and he's through to 8th position is the American. Lap 12 of the race. Not far away from the first round of pit stops. We'll find out soon enough who will be doing the 2 and he'll be doing the 1. It's most likely that Nick Tandy and Marcus Ericsson are going to be doing the 2. I'll be surprised if either of them are doing the 1. And there's what you see the I Am Dame cars going through on the Mazdas. Vitzer through on Zuboy. Pan through on Cassidy. You see Palmer, who's back behind Ilott again. Pacific cars really struggling again for pace. Pacific will not be making a return to League One next season. There goes Zuboy on Vitzer for 14th place. Clever overtake, but the Iron Danes is coming back on the inside. And Vitzer will not relinquish the position to the Mazda by any means. First pit stop of the race, or first scheduled one, is over at Cooper Kiro. Jamie Whincup is in. He was running in 5th position before coming in for that stop, and we've also got activity at Mazda. Nick Cassidy is in. See to freeze with Palmer still. Jamie Whincup, we try not too far behind those, so he's going to have to get by the traffic really if he's to perform any form of undercut on Earl Bamber. Will not want to be overcut by Kalle Rovanperä, that's for sure. And there goes De Vries on Palmer. Some neat battle, I have to say. De Vries is through at last on the Pacific. Bamber is in. This is an important stop for Bamber to remain in front of Jamie Whincup. Johnny Adam is also in for Sax Speed. Show Zuboy likewise. A lap after his teammate Nick Cassidy came in. But where is Jamie Whincup? We're looking at Shane van Gisbergen in 3rd place in the Ducati, but I want to see if Whincup was able to complete an undercut on Bamber, and the answer to that question is no, he hasn't. Bamber is still ahead of Whincup. Jaguar doing the right thing to respond to Whincup's pit stop, but what will that mean for Shane van Gisbergen in 3rd place? Because surely he'll want to respond to that and come in. Miro Kobayashi in 9th position in the 40 now, behind Roman De Angelis. Ericsson in from 2nd place. Van Gisbergen also in from 3rd place. We've got Newgarden in. Kobayashi is also in. So the pit lane is becoming increasingly busy now. Maloney is also in. Likewise for Bajskovica and Kyle Kirkwood. Whincup might just get in front of Shane van Gisbergen. It's the end of the race though for Yiyifi, unless he can get that car back to the pit lane, and he has done. He needed to come in for a pit stop anyway. He had a gearbox problem on his way in. Had that been anywhere else around the circuit, and it would have been curtains. And I can tell you that Whincup has got ahead of Shane van Gisbergen. I wonder if Van Gisbergen had to wait in his pit box to allow cars to go through, and that's cost him. Ericsson's out ahead of Whincup, but it's all down now to Nick Tandy. Will he be coming in at the end of this lap? Yes, he is. Kalle Rovanperä will go into the lead for now. Looking at Marcus Ericsson, who's stuck behind the Chip Ganassi of Colton Herta. This is not ideal for his race, and this could be the buffer that Nick Tandy needs to remain in front of Ericsson. But Ericsson's coming down the pit straight now, and he's got him. Ericsson is ahead of Tandy for the lead, effectively. And Bamber is ahead of Tandy as well. With Bamber making that earlier stop, the undercut has worked for him. That's disappointing news for Cooper Kiro. Unless Tandy can get into the slipstream and fight back and go through here, but Bamber has the advantage with slightly better tyres to the Brit. And then we see Dorian Pan being overtaken by a teammate Bajskovica. Julian Enlow now up into 2nd place. Rovanperä. I think Rovanperä is doing the one stop. Hence why his pace on his first stint wasn't great. So there's still a chance he can win this one. Don't know for certain whether Anloa and De Angelis are going to come in. Well, De Angelis is definitely coming in for Lancia. There goes Whincup on Ilott for 9th position on the roads. Ilott comes in for Pacific and will rejoin at the back. Van Gisbergen heading through on Joni and Palmer. He's going to be on the tail of the Sax Speed very shortly as well. Van Gisbergen picking them off one by one. Out goes Brendan Hartley in the Ducati. What a shame. to make sure he doesn't cause any problems for the pack coming through. Oh, and that was the Mazda who went offline there. I think he continued, but Hartley's race is done. Oh, and there's a car off just ahead. It was one of the Iron Danes that went off the circuit. I think it might have been Bajskovica who had gone through the gravel. Brendan Hartley retires from the Lead 2 Brno Grand Prix. And Kobayashi spins off in the 40. It goes from bad to worse for team manager Dave Goddard. The most experienced driver in the field. He's had a dogged season so far. Yeah, front wing gone. Don't know if he'll rejoin the race in all honesty. Kobayashi drops down to 23rd and last place. Julian Palmer comes in for Pacific. Ericsson back up into 3rd place on the road. Wing Cup goes through on the Ford of Felipe Drugovich. There is the Finn, Kalle Rovanperä, continuing to lead. But Drugovich gets overtaken by Joseph Newgarden. Drugovich is one of those doing the one stop. It is doable. And Maloney is the next driver to go off the circuit. He's whacked into the barrier, and that is his race done. Similar mistake to what Kamui Kobayashi had just done. I think the front left wheel is off yet. Game over for the Ford driver. He looks good for a possible points finish, but not to be today. He is gone. Ericsson gets through on Anlower. Rovanperä. Doing well so far in this, I have to say. And it's game over for Bajskovica in her 2nd outing in the Grand Prix World Series. A water leak by the looks of it. Not able to get back to the pits either. It's a terminal problem. Engine failure has forced the Dutch driver to pull out of this. And Palmer's off as well. The same issue for the Pacific. That is 6 drivers out of the race now. And Bamber's off the circuit in the Jaguar. What's happened? Oh, he's done exactly the same thing what Kobayashi and Maloney did. It isn't getting any better for Earl Bamber right now. Now, did Tandy make contact with him? I don't think he did. No, Bamber lost it by himself. He's going to fall down to pretty much last place. Is Earl Bamber. gravel trap? The answer to that question is no. Well, he hasn't got out of the gravel trap yet, I should say. Oh dear, 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 oh dear, oh dear. I don't know what Earl Bamber's doing here. That is Bamber rejoining the race in 19th position. His chances of points are pretty much dashed now. Oh, Van Gisbergen's off! What is going on in Brno? So many drivers dropping it at various points on the circuit. The championship leader is off. And he's at turn 5. Where he's done it. Ducati's race goes from bad to worse. Van Gisbergen will rejoin the race, most probably just ahead of El Bamber in 18th. He's gone back into the gravel again. Where's the Kiwi? Down to 18th place he goes. Roman DeAndres on the inside, and I think Ericsson's in. An electrical problem for the Lola driver. Well, that's surely Ericsson's hopes of winning this race dashed as well. And all of this is playing into the hands of Cuba Kiro, who wouldn't have expected this. And there is Pan locking up. She's just ahead of Marcus Ericsson. He's down to 13th. Nick Tandy closing on Robin Power, but remember, Robin Power hasn't stopped yet. Nick Cassidy goes through on Felipe Drogovic for 8th place. Pan running a little too big, and Robin Perra is in from the lead. And there we see cars overtaking. Will look like Sho Suboy, who may be struggling a little bit. Robin Perra rejoins the race. And he's down to P7 behind Roman DeAngelis. And Lower in second place, still yet to stop. He's ahead of Jamie Wincup on the road. And just behind those two is Joseph Newgarden in the Jaguar. Wincup should get by Anlower. I would probably say Anlower will be in the pits at the end of this one for his only stop of the race. I'm just conscious of where he's going to rejoin in relation to the traffic. So I would imagine he's going to end up down towards where, well, the very minimum where Marcus Ericsson is at. Be a little bit further down than that. Newgarden goes through round the outside of Julian Anlower. Never expected that to happen. Wincup second, Newgarden in third place. Anlower comes in. Marko Djokovic also comes in for Ford for his sole stop. And now we have a Cooper Kiro 1-2. But remember, Kelly Rovanpera is expected to go to the end. Tandy, Wincup, Newgarden, Adam and DeAngelis are all tuning to the pits again before this race is over. Let's see. Oh, that was a touch from De Vries on Herta. That was a little naughty that from the Dutchman. That was over at turn 4. Into the second half of the race, Tandy continuing to lead. No further actions taken on that incident between Herta and De Vries. Marcus Ericsson coming back through the field. He overtakes Dorian Pan. Let's go back into the top 10 now. And lower heading through on Herta. Freeze is the next driver ahead, who he will want to get by. Goes Herta, running wide at turn 1, but continuing. Something doesn't seem to be right with his car at the moment. Joseph Newgarden in 3rd place. Remy Jones is 4th. It's Johnny Adam and Kalle Rovanpera further back. Rovanpera heading through on the inside of Johnny Adam for 5th place. The Lola driver is passed. Newgarden in P3. Chasing down Wincup. Rovanpera will be all over the back of Roman DeAngelis very, very shortly. And off goes Herta. And that is a massive shunt into the barrier. Yeah. I thought he had some form of issue. But Herta is out of the race. At least he didn't take anyone with him throughout all that. His teammate Kyle Kirkwood is still going in 10th position. Milo is in for Pacific. And Kobayashi off again in the 40. Laps to go at Brno. Ericsson overtakes Sho Suboi for 8th position. Clever overtake from the Swedes to get by. Closing in on Nick Cassidy for P7. That was just a little lock-up from Jamie Winkup. And there is Tandy Still in the lead. Rovanpera still hasn't got by DeAngelis yet. And Newgarden's attempts to get by. Whincup can't make it work over at turn 5. Ericsson overtakes Cassidy for 7th place. And now he's got Johnny Adam further ahead, who looks to get by very, very soon before the pit stops arrive. I don't think Ericsson put any fuel in when he had to pit in with that electrical issue. So the likelihood is that he's going to need to pit in again before this race is over. Well, in comes Nick Tandy from the lead. And Kobayashi goes off again in the 40, this time at turn 1. There may be quite an intense debrief over at the 40 cam on what Dave Goddard has to say about his two drivers, the way that they've been performing at the moment. Whincup will take over the lead for now. It's crucial that Rovanpera overtakes Tandy here if he is to have any chance of winning this race. Well, Rovanpera is ahead of Tandy, but not by much. There goes Newgarden on Whincup. That's for the lead on the road and effectively what could be for the final podium position. There we see DeAngelis in 3rd place ahead of Rovanpera. Tandy is 5th. Adam, Ericsson, Cassidy, Kirkwood and Pan are all inside the points. Rovanpera, 4th place. Rovanpera all over the back of the Lancia, and it won't be too long before he overtakes him. But Tandy, Whincup, sorry, still in touch with Newgarden for the lead on the road. What about Rovanpera? He's behind DeAngelis. This is crucial that he gets by him. And he's through into 3rd place on track. That was vitally important he got by him. But I think Tandy's going to get by the Lancia as well over at turn 3. On the inside goes Tandy on DeAngelis, and it's 4th position. See, Tandy tucks up behind Rovanpera, decides not to go for it at turn 10. And cut further ahead behind Newgarden for position. These two are due in to the pits again before this race is over, but this is the battle we want to be watching. Rovanpera and Tandy for effectively the race lead of the Lead 2 Brno Grand Prix. Tucks it in the slipstream, pulls that alongside on the Lola. Tandy on the inside of Kalle Rovanpera, can't quite do it there. We'll have another go at turn 3. Should do it here. Tandy on the inside of Kalle Rovanpera for the lead effectively, and he's gone through a sensational pass from Nick Tandy. Could land him and Cooper Kiro their first win in the Grand Prix World Series. We've got pit stops over Mazda, Iron Dames and Ducati. Van Gisbergen's come in, as has Pan, and Cassie's just finished his stop. And El Bamba's come in for Jaguar, who's got no chance of scoring points today. Marcus Ericsson is running in 6th position, but I don't know if he's going to be hitting again before this race is over. No, there's got to be some team orders over at Cubic Hero because Tandy's all over the back of Wingcup here. This is not... Problem for Kalle Rovanperä in the Lola. After being overtaken by Tandy earlier on in the lap, it's going to be pulling to the sides, and it's race over for the Finn. Wingcup comes into the pits for Cubic Hero. It's race over for Kalle Rovanperä. Answering my question, Marcus Ericsson has come in for his final stop. Johnny Adam is also in. Julian Anlower will go up into 4th place. Off goes Eilert in the Pacific, crashing into the barrier. I've seen a number of drivers do that today. Eilert needs to be careful. He's got a car coming in behind. That's El Bamba, actually. Eight drivers out of the race now. Kalle Rovanperä, Colton Herter, Julian Palmer, Bicyclevitzer, Zane Maloney, Brendan Hartley, Louis Delatraz, and Arvid Lindblad. Bamba does overtake Callum Eilert. Roman DeAndros in 3rd place, who has picked up a podium already this season. That was over in Jerez. And there we see pit stops over Jaguar and at Lancia. Newgarden in. DeAngelis is also in. This will allow Julian Anlower to go into 2nd place. He's on the 1 stop, and then we see Ericsson lapping or going past Yiffy. So Yiffy has somehow managed to get back up into P7, but I'd imagine he's going to be in the pits again before this race is over. DeAngelis rejoins ahead of Ericsson. Ericsson is heading through on DeAndros at turn 3. 5th position is his. Nicely done. Now looking at the championship as it stands, with Van Gisbergen out of the points and not scoring, Marcus Ericsson will be taking the lead of the title battle by 3 points. Engine failure for the sack speed of Julian Anlower. What a shame. What a shame. He usually gets to the end of races, but not this one. He's already retired once this season. This will be the 2nd time he'll fail to finish unless he can get that sack speed back to the pit lane. It's a Cupra Hero 1-2 again. No, it's game over for Julian Anlower on lap 32. And Shane Van Gisbergen has also retired from the race, so it's game over for Sam Hull's team. Parking up at the same area as where his teammate Brendan Hartley retired earlier on. 3rd non-finish of the season for Van Gisbergen. For Julian Anlower, it's only his 2nd. Yiffy comes into the pits for Lancia. And with all these drivers dropping out, he may finish in the points after all. And Newgarden's also out! A puncher has forced Newgarden to the side. And it's game over effectively for Jaguar as well. Says that it was an engine problem. I don't think it was an engine problem. I thought it was a puncher because the left rear looked like it was flat. Either way, it's game over. Suboy overtakes Kyle Kirkwood. That's for 7th position. Both Masters inside the points now. Cassidy in 6th place as well. Nick Tandy leads the race. Jamie Whincup is 2nd. Marcus Ericsson 3rd. Roman DeAngelis is 4th. It's Johnny Adam in the sole surviving Sack Speed in 5th place. We've got the team Masters of Nick Cassidy and Joe Suboy in 6th and 7th. Kyle Kirkwood, who's fighting back with Suboy, is in 8th. Dorian Pan is 9th for Ian Danes, and in the final points paying position is the Ford of Felipe Trogovic. "15 drivers left in the race. There could still be more to come. So we've lost one of the Lolas, we've lost both Ducatis, we've lost one of the Jaguars, we've lost one of the Sack Speeds. There's no doubt that the main beneficiary is over at Cooper Kiro. Nick Tandy, by taking victory by the looks of things, will move him ahead of Joseph Newgarden into 4th place in the Drivers' Championship. Marcus Ericsson, as it stands, will lead the title battle by 5 points over Shane van Gisbergen. He's also got the Lancia of Roman DeAngelis, who's just ahead of him. Needs to be looking at that battle. Ducati will not be leaving Brno in the lead of the team's championship. It'll be Lola moving in front as Cassidy goes off in the Mazda. And he has to wait for cars to go by, and that's a costly error from Nick Cassidy. He drops down to 10th position. Now Nick De Vries, who's just behind Cassidy now in 11th place, might just snatch a rare point for Michael Gillespie's team. Toyota have not scored in the last 6 races. Now, a 1-2 finish would give Cooper Kiro 43 championship points. They'll move on to 170. Lola, by getting pole and a 4th place finish, they'll be on 189. Ducati will remain on 180. Jaguar will also remain on 180 as it stands, unless Old Bamba can get back into the points. Kirkwood going for it again, this time on Suboy for 6th position. Dorian Pan has done very well to remain in this. DeAngelis and Ericsson 3rd and 4th. So it'll be Lola leading the team's championship in lead 2 by 9 points. But the race for promotion is very much hotting up now. Pan going for it on the Chip Ganassi of Kai Kirkwood, and she's got past him. Dorian Pan through into P7. She's flying in this race, is Dorian Pan. Could say that she's been one of the drivers of the season. Pan into the slipstream of the Mazda. She's going for it. On the inside goes Darian Pan, and she's through into 6th position. Has she done it here? She'll need some good traction on the exit. And she's ahead of the Mazda. Brilliant overtake from Dorian Pan up into 6th place. And it looks like Nick de Vries has been overtaken by Yifi as well. So Yifi is 1 position away from finishing inside the points. He has got that point for the fastest lap right now. He's got another 5 seconds to make up on Nick Cassidy as Yifi. So you never know. He has got time. Suboy is fighting back though. On Pan over at turn 3. Can't make it stick there. And it's about to be overtaken here again by Suboy. Suboy back ahead. The Pan into 6th place. This battle could go on to the end. Felipe Drogovic could also get involved in this. And maybe Yifi. But Nick Tandy is 8 laps away from his maiden win in the Grand Prix World Series. Pan fights back with Sho Suboy. She's going to do the same as what she did on the previous lap. Go ahead of him here. Ooh, a little bit erratic from the Iron Dames on the approach to turn 11. But the move is done and Pan is past. He's back into 6th position. And Ilott is off. Spinning again in the Pacific. And the front wing is damaged. And that sums up Kevin McMullen's day. Seeing positions change again. In that battle for 6th place. We've got the League 1 race to come later, so do not go anywhere. That is Kyle Kirkwood on the rear of Sho Suboy for P7. Cassidy's got by Drogovic again, back into 9th place. So it could end up becoming a 6-car battle for 6th position. Oliver does get back to the pits for repairs. It's going to be another race without points for the Pacific team, that's for sure. And if they are unlucky, they could end up being overtaken by Ford, Iron Dames and Chip Ganassi. They could end up going down from 9th to 12th in the team's championship after this. There goes Kirkwood. On Suboy, this is over at turn 1. Has he done enough to get through? He has this time. Left in this race. Tandy has a lead of over 20 seconds on his teammate Jamie Whincup. What a pleasing sight this will be for team manager Ed Hunter. And Drogovic is overtaken by Yifi for 10th place. Yifi back into the points, so he could well get 2 points instead of 1 with that fastest lap. Marcus Ericsson is set to take the championship lead, but he wants to get more than what he's bargained for here and get back into the podium places. Isla on laps. Johnny Adam. It's been that sort of race really for Callum Isla. He's just using the remaining laps as like a test session for both him and for Pacific. Adam is not in a fight with anyone right now. Ericsson is most certainly in the fight with someone. He's going for it on Roman DeAngelis at turn 10, but he runs wide and nearly went into the gravel trap. And DeAndre survives for now. Ericsson will be back for more before this race is finished. Keep an eye out as well on Yi Yifi's progress, because since he's got by Felipe Drogovic, he's opened out a gap of 3 seconds on him, and he's closing on this back. Well, that's Nick Cassidy tussling with his master teammate Sho Zuboy. See Nick Tandy, who's got Kamui Kobayashi for company, who's trying to unlap himself from him. There goes Nick Cassidy on Sho Zuboy for 8th position. Kobayashi does unlap himself from the race leader. And good on him for doing that. Shows he still has that fighting spirit within him. And Sho Zuboy is under attack from Yi Yifi. Yifi on the inside, and 9th place is his now. The Chinese driver heading through. And it looks like Lancer are going to get more than what they expected, really, out of this. After Yi Yifi had to pit in for repairs in the early stages of this. And Kobayashi slows in the 40 after unlapping himself from Nick Tandy. He's going to be out before the end. And it's a rear suspension failure. It sees him spinning off the racetrack. And it's game over. Both of the 40s out of the race. Cassidy, and Yi Yifi is heading through for P8. That's a great pass from Yi Yifi on a charge. A brilliant recovery drive from Yi Yifi. I bet he can overtake Kyle Kirkwood and Dorian Pan before this race is over. Yi Yifi is 3 laps away from the victory. No mistakes now. He's very nearly there. Be a 2nd place finish for Jamie Whincup, replicating the result he had at Hockenheim. He'll move into the top 10 of the Drivers' Championship with this result. It'll be a 2nd podium finish of the season for Roman DeAngelis, providing he can keep Marcus Ericsson back, which he is doing so. Yi Yifi is less than a second behind Kyle Kirkwood. I will remind you of Mazda's Also, not Mazda's, Lancia's set up. It's a neutral one, whereas the Chip Ganassi is a mid-downforce. So the Lancia should have more straight line speed. And Kyle Kirk was overtaken Show Suboy. And I wonder if Suboy has got a problem here. No, he's coming back. It's a genuine battle between the pair of them. Oh, there is the reason why. Kyle Kirkwood's got a problem. What a shame. On course for 2 points finishes in a row, but it's not going to be here. Out goes the Chip Ganassi. And that's the end of the day's work for team manager Phil Kinch. Allows Felipe Drogovic to go up into the points. Into freeze, he's up one position away from a point scoring position, but he's got El Bamba closing in behind. I did say Jaguar won't be scoring anything, but you just never know with the way cars are pulling out right now. I would say it's a stretch too far for Bamba to be scoring. Then there were 13. Tandy not far away from victory now. Final up has begun by the race leader. It's going to be a day to remember for Cooper Kiro. Yiffy is closing in on Dorian Pan for 6th place as well. So there's that to look out for. But what a sensational performance it has been from Ed Hunter's team today. This has thrown them right back in the race for promotion after their latest run of form. Lola, Ducati and Jaguar better watch out, because Cooper Kiro could all of a sudden be on some form of charge to earn a place in League One. And after all the hard save that Ed Hunter had during his days as the Real boss, hardly picked up anything from those 3 campaigns put together. This season has taken them to the next step, and who knows where it could lead to by the time Season 5 has reached its climax. 3 more corners, or 2 more corners to get through for Nick Tandy, and it's going to be a first win in the Grand Prix World Series for him and for the team. The Cooper Kiro crew are out on the pit wall waiting for their number 1 driver. Nick Tandy wins the Lead 2 Brno Grand Prix. It's the first win in the championship for him, for Cooper Kiro, and for team manager Ed Hunter. Jamie Wheatcup second to round off not only a win but a 1-2 for the team. Roman DeAngelis gets his 2nd podium finish of the season in 3rd place. Marcus Ericsson 4th for Lola takes the lead in the championship. Johnny Adam picks up more points for Zach Speed in 5th. 2 races and 2 points finishes for him. Yiffy overtook Dorian Pan on the final lap to snatch 6th place. A good haul of points for Chris Cavani and his team. Dorian Pan still picks up a strong result in 7th place for Iron Dames. Nick Cassidy 8th. Show Suboy is 9th. 2 Masters inside the points. The last point scoring position will be taken by Felipe Drogovic, and Jaguar's day has been rounded off by El Bamba retiring. What a miserable day for Mike Smith and his team. Both cars not making it to the checkered flag. Nick De Vries will hold on to P11. But there is your race winner. It is Nick Tandy for Cooper Kiro here in Brno. Jamie Whincup 2nd, Roman DeAngelis in 3rd place, Marcus Ericsson is 4th ahead of Johnny Adam, Yiffy is 6th, Dorian Pan in 7th place, Nick Cassidy 8th, Zhou Suboy 9th, and Felipe Drogovic running up the top 10. Ford do bag a point out of all of that. Nick de Vries just missing out on points in P11. Earl Bamber retiring on the last lap in 12th. Callum Isler finishing the lap down in 13th place. We lost Kyle Kirkwood and Kamui Kobayashi towards the end, but both are classified as finishers. Joseph Newgarden retiring with a puncher. Julian also out. Shane van Gisbergen, the championship leader heading into this, also retiring. Callum Rotherpera, big blow there in also retiring. We've also lost Colton Hertz, who crashed out. Julian Palmer, Bajskovica, Zane Maloney, Brendan Hartley, Louis Delatrez, and Arvid Lindblad. The remainder of those to not finish. Kelly Rotherpera got the point for pole position. The point for the fast start going to the man finishing in 6th place today, Yiffy. What a result! And a big one for Cooper Kiro, with Jaguar and Ducati not scoring. Lola taking the lead in the team's championship with their haul of points, but that's nothing in comparison to what Cooper Kiro have done there. Looking at the standings in terms of how that affects things, they are now on 170 points. They are 10 points off the promotion places. It's game on now with 7 races to go. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, Marcus Ericsson takes over the lead ahead of Shane van Gisbergen. It is now 5 points, the gap in his favour. But it's very much game on with Nick Tandy taking the victory. He is ahead of Joseph Newgarden into 4th place. With Earl Bamber and Shane van Gisbergen not scoring, he is in the fray for that too. It's time to run down on the League 2 Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith. And we'll be back for the League 1 race very, very shortly.
Well, what a fantastic result for the Cupra Kiro team. Their first victory in the Grand Prix World Series. And to put the cherry on top of the cake, it is a 1-2 finish. Nick Tandy wins ahead of Jamie Whincup, and Roman De Angelis pick up another podium for the Lancia team this season. What a race that was to kick things off here in Brno. But what has this done to the drivers and team standings? Let's take a quick look now. Marcus Ericsson's recovery drive today has put him back into the championship lead. 119 points for the Swedish driver, now 5 ahead of Shane van Gisbergen, not enjoying his day today with that retirement. Earl Bamber third on 100, 3 points ahead of Nick Tandy, who moves up to 4th in the championship as a result of his Wednesday. Now less than a race win off the championship lead, so Nick Tandy really getting himself into the fight now for this title. Joseph Newgarden 5th on 80 ahead of Julian Anlauer on 64. Yefe 7th on 59 ahead of his teammate Roman De Angelis, who moves up to 8th after his podium today. Mitch Evans still in the top 10 on 51, and Jamie Whincup moves into 10th place on 46 points with his 2nd podium here today. Looking at the teams, it's really closing up now. Lola takes back the lead of the championship on 188 points, 8 ahead of Ducati and Jaguar tied on points, while Cooper Kiro a further 10 behind. Cooper Kiro has well and truly got themselves into the fight, not just for promotion, but for the title as well. How spicy this could get in the second half of the season. Lancia are 5th on 112 ahead of Zach Speed on 108. And then further down the order, 40 Corsa on 44, Mazda on 38, Iron Dames on 30, Pacific on 28, Ford on 26, Chip Ganassi on 23, and Toyota still having a bit of a pointless run at the moment, still with 5 to their name. Well, now we can move on to League 1, and let's remind ourselves of what the championship standings are heading into today's race. Kevin Estre leading the way by 20 points over his teammate Scott Dixon. Kevin Estre becoming a title favourite as it stands at the moment. Robin Freins 2 points ahead of his Arrows teammate Felix Rosenquist, 88 plays 86 in the moment. And then the 2 Fonmetals of Da Costa and Kevin Magnussen on 83 and 78 each. And then the 2 HRTs of McLaughlin and Bell on 73 and 62 each. A bit of a Noah's Ark formation going on within the top 8 there. But ruining that formation is the Minardi of Rio Hirakawa and the BAR of Nicholas Latifi on 59 and 46 points respectively. Looking at the teams, Onyx building up a bit of a cushion at the moment, 32 points ahead of Arrows there, 206 over 174. Fonmetal looking to get themselves into championship contention as well, 161 points for Ewan Gale's team as it stands at the moment. HRT 4th on 135 ahead of Minardi on around 100. BAR on 61 ahead of Force India on 52. Ram Racing on 34, Carlin on 32, and Andretti on 31. Very close between those teams there. And occupying the relegation zone places at the moment, Primo Racing on 22, Prost on 14, and Simtech on 8. But don't take those as a given just yet. A good points finish for any of those teams could see them elevate themselves into the top 10 and safe from relegation. And just like in the League 2 race, there are no driver changes heading into today's League 1 Brno Grand Prix. So let's get straight to the grid and see what went on in qualifying. And this is a Fondamentale 1-2. Antonio Felix da Costa on pole position, 4 thousandths of a second ahead of his teammates Kevin Magnussen. Very close between those two, and they shared the front row together. Robin Freins third ahead of Felix Rosenqvist for an all-arrow second row. Scott McLaughlin fifth in the HRT ahead of Raffaele Marcello in the Force India. Christopher Bell puts both HRTs into the top 7. And then the two leading drivers in the championship, Kevin Estre and Scott Dixon, only 8th and 9th today. Ryan Ferris potentially going the wrong way on setup for qualifying at least. We'll see how they get on in the race. And Philip Hansen in his second Grand Prix World Series outing puts his BAR into the top 10, a good result by him. Felipe Albuquerque in the second BAR starts 11th today ahead of John-Eric Vergne in the Force India. Then the two Minardis are Pascal Wehrlein and Rio Hirakawa. Pato Ward and Stoffel Van Dorn in the two Carlins of 15th and 16th. And then Oliver Rowland, Linus Lundqvist, Jose Maria Lopez and Sebastian Buemi, the two Prosts, rounding out the top 20 there. And at the back, Jake Dennis, Louis Foster, Alex Palou, Tina Hausmann, Igor Fraga and Tom Coronel qualifying over 3 seconds off the pace of Antonio Felix da Costa today. We'll see if he can move forward during the race here today. Well, League 2 produced an absolute thriller for us today. Can League 1 produce more of the same? Let's waste no more time and get straight back to the grid where Tom Cairns is ready and waiting in the box to get this one underway. So Tom, back to you.
It's an all-Fondamentale front row with da Costa on pole, with Magnussen alongside. Can they come away with an important victory and take a giant step closer to the title here in Brno? The further lights are coming on now. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go in Brno. A super getaway from both of the Fondamentales, but it feels like Magnussen's going to have the inside line. But watch out for Felix Rosenqvist. Could launch through ahead of the pair of them. And he's done so. Felix Rosenqvist is ahead by turn number 1. He's ahead of the two Fondamentales with da Costa and Magnussen fighting over second place. What a terrific start from the Swede, who sent one up the inside after a brilliant start. And he's through ahead of the pack. Rosenqvist leads, da Costa is second, it's Magnussen. Robin Freins in fourth place. Scott McLaughlin has got ahead of Scott Dixon for a moment before the Onyx fights back. However, it is the HRT who's going to send one up the inside over at turn number 5, but Dixon is able to resist. Dixon is in 5th place, McLaughlin safe. Philip Hansen made a terrific stop up to 7th position from 10th. It's Albuquerque, Marcello and Bell running out the top 10. Kevin Estre, the championship leader, has lost 3 positions from his starting spot. He's down to P11. Freins, meanwhile, on a charge. Through on Magnussen he goes. 3rd place is heading into the way of the Arrows pilot. We saw earlier that some drivers' pace at the beginning may become apparent later on in terms of the fuel strategy. It's a terrific start for Topher Smith and his squad with his drivers 1st and 3rd. Estre attacking Bell. Further behind we see the Force India of what looked like Marcello on the attack on Albert. Looking at Hansen going through, and it's a first retirement of the race for Christopher Bell. Does his best to stay out of everyone's way, but needs to be careful here. Doesn't take out anyone, thankfully he doesn't. It's another non-finish for Christopher Bell on the 2nd lap, and he is gone. Not a good start for team manager John Munro. And Bell came into this one 8th in the championship, but he's not going to be scoring today. He is gone. HRT's chances of the team's championship are slipping further and further away. Hansen moves in front of Magnussen into 5th place at turn number 10. Da Costa stay in touch with Rosenquist? We'll see soon enough. Madison. He's losing another place this time, potentially to Scott McLaughlin. Kevin Estra is back ahead of Rafael Marcello. It's the fast of the race from Antonio Felix Da Costa, running in second position. Scott McLaughlin passes Kevin Magnussen, and that's Estra going through on Albuquerque for 8th place. Marcello in P10. That is Van Dorn running a little too deep at turn 3. Say there from Rio Hirakawa going through on the Carlin. Rosenquist ahead of the pack. Da Costa second, and it's Friends, Dixon, Hansen, McLaughlin, Magnussen, Estra, Albuquerque, and Marcello. Estra overtakes Magnussen. I think Magnussen's doing the one-stop in this. I'm pretty sure that's what pretty sure that was the plan before the race had started. That he had planned to do a one-stop. And there's an engine problem. Oh no! We're going to see why. Kevin Magnussen's engine's gone up. Kevin Magnussen is out unless he can get his car back to the pit lane. No, it's on fire. Game over for the Von Mattel driver. And if he's not careful, this could cause more problems for the drivers behind. Rio Hirakawa. Was that Pascal Verlaine? I think that's Verlaine actually. He's just got ahead of Jean-Luc Verne. Minardi and the Force India go through. But Magnussen needs to park that car up somewhere. Oh, he nearly took out the Ram at turn 3. He's off the track now, is the Dane. That's the first twist in this one, the first major one really, unless you want to count Christopher Bell. And Alex Blow is also off the track in the Ram, who nearly collided with Magnussen at turn 3. But the Spaniard has had a spin on his own, no one else was involved in it. What a really poor season it's turned out to be in League 1 for Alex Blow, and he's damaged the front wing. Really struggling. That'll be him off into the pit lane. Magnussen's retirement has allowed all those to move up. Now the top 3 teams in League 2 go up to League 1 next season. The bottom 3 teams of League 1 will head down to League 2. The bottom 3 is occupied by Simtek, Prost and Prema. There we see Verne running in 13th place on the inside of Pascal Verlaine. Is that enough for the Force India to go through? It is. Good overtake from Verne to move up the order. Nice blow, does make it back to the pit lane. It's going to be a lonely race from there for him. Marcello running in 9th position, makes contact with Albuquerque, and that'll be a penalty because he made contact with him in order to get that overtake completed. So we'll see that again from Marcello's angle. It was not his corner. It's clear he gained the position by making contact, and And that'll be a 10-second time penalty going in the way of him. And there's the confirmation from race control of Marcello's sanction. There was an overtake completed there from, I think that was Verline going through on Vern at the penultimate term. Oh, you top two, Rosenquist and DaCosta. It's Lundqvist who's heading through on Tina Hausman, turn number 1. Rosenquist in the lead. Jake Dennis heading through on his teammate Andretti. Now Andretti have hit a barren run of form in recent races, haven't scored in the last 4. They are sitting on the edge in 10th place, 9 points above the drop zone over Prema. Oh, and McLaughlin makes contact with Estra. That was very nearly a huge collision between the pair. Kevin Estra, who's finished in every single race so far this season. He's very lucky to keep that record going for now. And McLaughlin is aiming to get past, and there's an overtake potential from Philip Hansen on Scott Dixon. Hansen absolutely flying in this race, overtaking cars for fun, but surely that must mean he's on a lighter fuel load. And we're going to see an overtake from McLaughlin on Kevin Estra. McLaughlin heading through on Kevin Estra for 6th position. That was a nice overtake from the Kiwi. I think there's been more overtaken further back because Stoffel Van Dorn has moved in front of Ria Hirakawa. Dixon on the inside of Hansen for 4th place. Hansen not putting up a fight there. I don't think that battle's going to die away anytime soon. Oliver Rowland comes in for an early pit stop for Prema, so not an ideal scenario for him either. Lap 7 out of 4 of 44. Sebastian Bremer go through, and off goes Dennis in the Andretti, and he rejoins into the path of his teammates. Now, he did exactly what Louis Delatraz did in the Lead 2 race earlier, and Jake Dennis has paid the price for that. Out goes Jake Dennis, and I can imagine there'll be back of the grid shot for him next time out in Brno. And Linus Lundqvist lost places. Thankfully, he didn't take any damage from that. But it's Dennis who retires. Down. 3 cars already out. Dixon's moved back ahead of Hansen for position. And it's a back of the grid penalty for Jake Dennis next time out in Brno. And changes for position between... Is that Verline and Vern? I think it must have been. I can tell you, Scott McLaughlin is moved in front of Kevin Estra. And there goes Vern on Verline at the same corner. There is Hirakawa on Albuquerque. Let's go inside the top 10. Furline in 13th. Furline nearly running into the forcing yet. Now, and off goes Albuquerque in the BAR. Front wing gone on that. To get the car turned round. Won't do it there. Away me. Got Linus Lundqvist for company. Lundqvist goes through on Buemi at turn 3. Albuquerque makes it back to the pit lane in the BAR. Now we see Frines in P3. Dixon been overtaken by Hansen earlier on, has got back ahead of him again. Also refusing to leave each other alone. Further back, Estra got by McLaughlin once more. We see Lopez heading through on Verline, and brilliantly done there from Lopez. There was a lock-up from the Minardi. No contact was made, I don't think. Lopez was on the inside, yeah. Verline locked up by himself at that time. So no penalty will be given to either driver. So Mario Lopez beginning to make his way through the field. Buemi coming back on Lundqvist. Again. Fines in P3. 2 Arrows drivers in the podium places. Hansen 4 from BAR. There's 2 Onyx drivers of Scott Dixon and Kevin Estra in 5th and 6th. Scott McLaughlin 7th, Rafael Marcello 8th, Stock Randon 9th, Rio Hirakawa inside the top 10. Fines. In the first round of pit stops, and Rosenqvist is in command of this one so far. It's a question of whether any of the drivers at the front are doing a one stop or whether they're doing 2. Hirakawa moves in front of Van Dorn for 9th. Lopez and Verline are in a tussle between themselves for P12. Buemi got by Lundqvist a moment ago, but it looks like Lundqvist is coming back on the cross. 3 drivers out of the race so far. Jake Dennis, Kevin Magnussen and Christopher Bell. Verline nearly running into the Prost there of Lopez. No harm done for either of them. Looking at the championship as it stands with the way things are going, if Rosenqvist was to come away with the win, he would get obviously 25 championship points for that. That would move him in front of Frines, Dixon, and he'll close to within. Right now it would be 10 points of Kevin Estre. And Estre's on fire, or has gone up in smoke. It's the first retirement of the season for the championship leader. He had gone 13 races without a non-finish. That is going to come to an end today. It was bound to happen at some point. It was a matter of when. He's done very well to get this far, but it's game over for Kevin Estre. We've got a pit stop over at Arrows because Felix Rosenqvist has come in. What should be the first of 2 stops for him. Rosenqvist rejoins the race in 9th spot. He's ahead of Sean Verne. Jose Maria Lopez has come in for Prost as well. Barry Foster is also in for Prema. Philip Hansen is in 3rd place right now in the BAR. And in his 2nd outing in the Grand Prix World Series. Buemi and Lundqvist still tussling this time for 15th place. Will Buemi decide to go in a 1-stop? He's got any chance of coming away with points today. Rosenqvist heading through on Van Dorn almost. Second for Arrows. We'll see Rosenqvist going through on Van Dorn almost. Although Van Dorn's straight line speed is what's keeping him ahead of the Arrows, and that reminds me to run through the downforce setups for each of the teams. Prost, HRT and BAR have gone for neutral. Arrows and Force India mid downforce. Minardi, Simtek and Onyx neutral. Von Mattel have gone for maximum downforce setup. Carlin, mid-top speed. Prema, Andretti and Ram have all gone for neutral. Antonio Felix da Costa, winner in Hockenheim this season. Robin Frines, winner in Mugello. And we've got Scott Dixon, who's yet to win this season. He's in third place and the only Onyx left in the race now after Kevin Estra pulled out. Got a couple of pit stops over at Minardi and Carlin. Hirakawa and Van Dorn are both in. There goes McLaughlin on Marcello for fourth place on circuit. Fargate in for Ram. DeCosta leads at the moment. The only Fontaine left in the race as well. Rosenquist is in sixth place on the road. He's got some clear track ahead of him. Chile coming back on McLaughlin. Kiwi fending off the Swiss stroke Italian driver. Oliver Rowland, who's already been into the pits for repairs earlier on in the race, has had a spin over at turn number 5. Allows Igor Fraga to go through. Dixon in the pits. For his scheduled stop at the race, and he'll rejoin in 10th position behind Patro Ward. Full position. Alex Blow comes in again for Ram. That'll be his first scheduled stop of the race as well. DeCosta is in from the lead and will drop behind Felix Rosenquist, and the same for Robin Frines because he is also entering the pit lane. And Rafael Marcello has moved back ahead of Scott McLaughlin. Is that because McLaughlin's coming into the pits, or is McLaughlin fighting back? Well, Marcello's fighting back, and he's gone into the pits now. And Rosenquist is right on the tail of McLaughlin. And there is McLaughlin. And Rosenquist is held up behind, and Rosenquist is back ahead of DeCosta, crucially. He's through into the lead, is Felix Rosenquist on the road, and effectively, and on merit. Is DeCosta going to head through at turn 5? He is. And on the fresher rubber, he's on 4 laps fresher tyres to the arrows. And that's going to come in handy for the Portuguese. Scott McLaughlin has yet to stop in this race. It looks like he's going to try and make the one-stop work. And there goes DeCosta for the lead. The League One Brno Grand Prix up the inside goes the Fomitel, and Antonio Felix DeCosta leads the race ahead of his cycle rival. Straight out of the pit lane on fresher rubber. He's made it work for him and for the team. A crucial pass. Philip Albuquerque coming into the pits for BAR. That will be his first scheduled stop of the race. And there we see McLaughlin in third position. Ericsson. Heading through on Sean Verne for 6th place. That's Lopez heading through on Buemi for position. Marcello overtakes Otto Ward for position. Antonio Fitz da Costa sets a new fast stop of the race. And Philip Hansen, who's had a really strong race up to this point so far in 5th place, has already stopped. And Scott McLaughlin is dropping down the order. Has he gone off at turn 1? Because Frines was behind McLaughlin. I think it's just the fact that Frines got by McLaughlin. That could be what it is. McLaughlin is beginning to struggle on his old set of tyres. See Hirakawa overtaking Pato Ward for position. Ward hasn't stopped yet in this race either. Hirakawa has done. Norman Frines in P3. He needs another strong result to reduce the arrears with Kevin Estra already out of the race. And there goes Rafael Marcello on Pascal Verlo. Marcello's had a really strong race in this. Philip Albuquerque on Scott McLaughlin to unlap himself from the HRT. So he pitted twice, Albuquerque. McLaughlin hasn't made a stop in this. Oscar Verlaine does pit in for Minardi. Same for Linus Lundqvist. With Tina Hausman, who's already made a pit stop in this race, has gone through ahead of the Prost. Tina Hausman has failed to finish in both the previous races in the Grand Prix World Series. Will it be 3rd time lucky here? Now, Da Costa leads by 6 seconds over Rosenqvist. That's how effective a few laps fresher rubber does for you. Scott McLaughlin pits in for the only time. He's running in 4th place before he came in. Ward pits in. Out comes McLaughlin ahead of Lopez. He'll be tucked up in the slipstream of the HRT. If he can help it. And it's a retirement for Linus Lundqvist. That's both of the Andretti's out now. And that stretches their run of 5 races without a point. As for Linus O'Howell, he may want to be thinking about what to do for the coming races because they are sitting pretty precarious above the drop zone. Brno have got neither of their drivers inside the points. And Prost have not got either of their drivers inside the points as we speak. Rosenquist in second position, continuing to drop back from Da Costa. Ahead of him there, that's the Prema of Oliver Rowland. He's had a race to get so far. He's already down at the lap on the leader. Looking at Robin Fries, the gap is coming down to 2 seconds between the pair. I wonder if Fries may be thinking about either staying out there or coming in to perform an undercut, but the trouble is where you feed back out in the traffic. And there is Vern, being passed by Van Dorn. And Carling came into this one not scoring in the last round, but did score in the previous 3 before that. Harry Brown's team doing their best to remain as a League One team next season. He gets overtaken by Verline, who'd only just come into the pits for his only stop. Buemi hasn't done his yet. There is Da Costa in the lead, and behind him is the Ram of Alex Palou, the man who just wrapped up his 4th IndyCar title in less than 100 races in the championship. A very impressive run by the Spaniard, and there's a whole lot more to come from him. But he's not having the best time of it so far this season in the Grand Prix World Series. Sean O'Fern is the latest to put in for Force India for the only time in this. Sebastian Buemi does put in for Prost. And Fries is really looming in on Rosenquist. The gap is down to 8 tenths. See Da Costa. I think he's got one of those back markers ahead of him. That is Sebastian Buemi, who's coming onto the lap. But Buemi's only just been in the pits for his only stop of the race, and I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him try and unlap himself from the Fomitel. If he can't unlap himself, then just stay in touch with him. That would be my advice to Buemi. Jose Maria Lopez inside the top 10 for Prost. He's had a good run in this race so far. And Fries has got past Rosenquist for second. We didn't see the overtake from the Arrows pilot, but he's got past his teammate now and he's into second place. We're going to see a replay how he's managed to do it. This was over at turn 5. Robin Fries passes Felix Rosenquist for second place. And judging by Fries' pace, that was coming. Can he go after Antonio Felix da Costa for the lead? He's got 10 seconds to make up on the Portuguese driver. And Albuquerque's off again in the BAR. This is over at turn 10 by the looks of it. It's certainly been a race to forget for him. If you remember, he had that run in Poznan with Tina Hausman, which cost him a points finish. And it's going to be a long race from there. 5 drivers out of the race so far. Linus Lundqvist, Kevin Estra, Jake Dennis, Kevin Magnussen and Christopher Bell. And Scott Dixon has got past Philip Hansen for position, and I think Hansen may have run into trouble on this lap. Yeah, he's dropping back all the time. We need to go to Philip Hansen because he's dropping down like a fly at the moment. It's going from bad to worse for BAR again and for team manager Will Knight. And Hansen is in. I think he had some form of electrical issue that's forced him to make an extra pit stop, and that pretty much ruins his hopes of picking up any points again today. Finds laps Oliver Rowland. Hansen rejoins in 14th position ahead of Jean-Luc Verne. Tom Coronel being lapped by Antonio Felix da Costa. Wayman won't be too far behind to attack the Simtek. It's pretty much a show that Simtek will not be in League One next season. Sitting on only 8 points by this stage of the campaign. And I don't see Simtek finding a way of getting that team back into a position where they can call themselves a League One team again. Igor Fraga fighting it out with Louis Foster for P11. And has the Ram done enough? The answer that time around is yes. For now, at least. Lopez in 9th position, closing in on Scott McLaughlin. He's got a clear track ahead of him. There is Tom Coronel. He will have Sebastian Buemi for company. These two have already been lapped by the leader. However, Da Costa is expected to be pitting in again before this race is over. But out goes Rafael Marcillo again in the Force India. It's a loose left rear wheel that's forced him to pull off the track. And it's game over. He was running in 5th place as well before retiring. That's more points down the drain for Ed Spencer's team. And Hansen's off again in the BAR. Whilst that was going on, Antonio Felix da Costa has come in from the race lead. And he'll rejoin in 3rd place ahead of Scott Dixon. Hansen is struggling to get out of there. And Sebastian Buemi has overtaken Tom Coronel for 17th position. Will become 15th once they go past Marcello's stricken Force India. 16th, well, because Hansen's moved up back into 15th spot. Da Costa rejoining 3rd place ahead of Dixon. He's got a clear track ahead of him, so he's not having to deal with any traffic really. And we've got a pit stop over at Ram. Igor Fraga has come in. Van Dorn ahead of McLaughlin for 6th position. Here's Da Costa in P3, 14 seconds off the lead, but he won't need to worry because both Frines and Rosenqvist are due in again before this race is over. There we see McLaughlin on the inside of Van Dorn. Not quite there. Van Dorn holds his line and his position for the time being. Friends has been flying on this second stint. He will come out on fresher rubber to DaCosta, but is he going to make up all the time in the remaining laps of this race if he is to win? Well, Friends is getting held up now behind Alex Palou. It's a lap. Foster is in for Prema. Vines is in after losing all that time in the traffic. Decides he's had enough and he's going to come in. Allow Rosenqvist to take over the lead for now. DaCosta will go into second place and Friends should rejoin ahead of Dixon, or probably not actually because Dixon's coming through. So we'll rejoin in fourth position. Will the Dutchman? He's going to have to get the hammer down if he wants to win this one. He's got 16 laps to catch Antonio Felix DaCosta. Hirakawa is also in for Minardi. Lopez is ahead of Hirakawa, but we expect Lopez to be in the pits again before this race is over. Vitally important that Prost come away with points here. Buemi got a point last time out in Poznan with a 10th place finish. Lopez didn't finish. Tom Coronel coming in for Simtek, and we've got a pit stop over Arrows. Rosenqvist is in, and that allows DaCosta to take over the lead. Arfon Mattel going to celebrate a victory again this season. Kevin Madison got the first one in Aruba. DaCosta won a couple of rounds ago in Hockenheim. Looking good to do it again here. Foster overtakes Sebastian Buemi for 15th place. Van Dorn in for Carlin. Fines is on the tail of Dixon. It's not going to be long before he passes him. It's crucial that Fines gets past Dixon. And there goes Hirakawa on Lopez. Lopez yielding to the Minardi. Cannot do anything about that. We're in the pits for the final time in the Prema. Dixon is now in for Onyx from second position. He'll rejoin in fifth place behind Scott McLaughlin. There goes. It's Rosenqvist on Tom Cairns to lap. Here's DaCosta, 12 seconds in the lead over Robin Freins. And Lopez is now in for Prost. Will he be coming away with any points today? Van Don is also in. No, sorry, it's Hausman who's in. Lopez should rejoin behind Igor Fraga here. He does rejoin behind Fraga. We want to keep an eye on the gap between DaCosta and Freins. 12.3 in the last sector. McLaughlin makes a mistake over at turn 10. He's got Dixon right behind, waiting to pounce. Goes Dixon on the fresher rubber on his fellow compatriot. That's enough for the Kiwi to head through into 4th place. That's most likely where he'll end up by the end of this. What will the final 13 laps develop here? DaCosta was to take victory today. He will equal Scott Dixon on the number of wins in the Grand Prix World Series with 8. Victory from Mattel will move them further clear of Lola, 3rd place in the all-time list for race wins. And there we see Rosenqvist putting a lap on the ramp of Alex Palou. Right on board with Pafter Award. He was on the one stop. He's running in 10th position. Hirakawa has... Oh no, sorry, Werner's got by Verline for position. He's up into 7th place for Force India. You have to say the top 7 are pretty much assured of a place in League 1 next season. It's the likes of Ram, Carlin, Andretti, Prima, Prost and Simtek who will be fighting to beat the drop. And you see Hirakawa, who's trying to lap Philip Albuquerque, and that was so nearly Minardi taking the BAR out, and that would have resulted in a disqualification and the race ban. France has got the gap down slightly, but not by a lot. Sebastian Buemi looks like he's going to end up finishing a lap down by the end of this. It has not been a good day again for him. Pace just not quite there. I don't know if the setup was the wrong choice that Prost had gone for here. But it's not worked out as well as they would have liked. This man's not complaining though. This stands in the championship battle. Antonio Felix DaCosta, who will be moving into second place. 108 points, as well as the fast start point, which is 109, make that. It will only be 4 points off the leader. In fact, because he got the pole position point earlier, it's a maximum score here, so it'll be 110. DaCosta will be just 3 points off Kevin Estre in the race for the title. Robin Friends, by finishing second, will be on 106, and Felix Rosenqvist will move on to 101. Scott Dixon, by finishing fourth, will be on 105. So it'll be Estre, DaCosta, Friends, Dixon, and Rosenqvist in that order. Scott McLaughlin, by finishing in 5th place at the moment, will leapfrog Kevin Magnussen into 6th position. And we see Pato Ward is about to be overtaken by Philip Hansen, who's already been in the pits prematurely for all repairs. He had that off earlier, which cost him a bundle of time. He somehow managed to get back into the points. And there goes DaCosta lapping Buemi with 10 laps to go. There is Van Dorn on Vern at turn 1 on the inside, and that's the Carlin through. That will please team manager Perry Brown for sure. Teams Championship, Onyx's lead will be slashed, that'll be for sure, because Arrows have got 2nd and 3rd right now, Dixon running only in 4th place. Arrows will be collecting 33 points to Onyx's 12. Gap that was 32 points at the beginning of the day will be down to just 11, and Hirakawa is off in the Minardi! That's a costly error from the Japanese pilot. And his front wing's gone as well. And that's his chances of points gone. Von Mattel, by getting 27 points today, as it stands, moved them on to 188. It will be 30 points off leaders Onyx. And Hirakawa. Oh, he's gone back into the gravel again. He's having to wait for the traffic to go by. That'll be him off into the pit lane. There's no way he'll be finishing inside the points at least. He might try and go for a fast lap on the fresher rubber, but that'll be all he'll get. Is going to lap Tina Hausman. Next one ahead will be Igor Fraga. And Hirakawa's error has allowed Van Dorn into 6th place, Vern now 7th, Verline 8th, Hansen 9th, and O'Ward 10th. Jose Maria Lopez is closing in though on the Carlin. He's only just 4 tenths off, and I think Lopez will get by O'Ward very, very shortly. And there we see Van Dorn lapping Philip Albuquerque. Ryan's in second place at the moment. Rosenqvist is now over 8 seconds off him. And Lopez has got Bio Ward for position. Just now, he's into the points, which could be crucial for Prost. If he can just stay on the lead lap, he might catch Pascal Wehrlein and Philip Hansen. Target which of Wehrlein and Hansen, they're battling amongst each other, and Hansen has got through into 8th position. Brilliant recovery drive from Philip Hansen. He's got about 7 seconds to make up on Jean-Luc Vergne. Has he got enough time? Tina Housen's got by Igor Fraga for position into 12th place. It's been a super drive as well from Tina Housen. It's been a brilliant effort. See McLaughlin is just lapped, or maybe trying to be unlapped by Ryo Hirakawa. Not long left to go. De Costa is on his way to his 8th Grand Prix World Series win. At this point, he gets lapped by Robin Freins. You see Felix Rosenqvist in 3rd position. May feel like the winner got away from him, but these are big, big points. When Rosenqvist hadn't scored in the last 2. And Lopez is closing in on Wehrlein. The gap is now just 2 seconds between the pair. He's continuing to stroll along in 12th position, trying to catch Pato O'Ward. Is about to be lapped by the race leader, Antonio Felix da Costa. Foster goes by Fraga for 13th. Still there at the moment. Around the outside into turn 11. That's a neat overtake from Louis Foster. And there goes Lopez. Much quicker than Wehrlein, and he's going to go through shortly here. Yes, up the inside and on the fresher rubber, Lopez is through into 9th position. With 2 championship points coming in the way. 4 laps to go for the race leader. There we see Alex Palou. That's on Tom Coronel, and Ryo Hirakawa is right behind these two. Coronel fights him back, but to no avail. 9 seconds is the margin between DaCosta and Frines. There we see Hirakawa's already got by Alex Palou. He'll go past Tom Cairns, there's no doubt about that. There he goes. He's got a long way to catch up to Oliver Rowland. I think even on the fresher rubber, I don't think he'll catch him. There's Philip Albuquerque being lapped by his teammate Philip Hansen. And Pato Award further back in the pack is under attack from Tina Hausmann. Frines in P2. Right on board with Philip Hansen, who's only just under 3 seconds ahead of Jose Maria Lopez. He is catching Verne. But Lopez is closing him down all the time. The pair could end up being lapped by the leader before this race is over. We haven't got long left in this now. There is C. Rosenquist in P3. Louis Foster having to come in for repairs, unfortunately. It's not been a good day for team manager Alex Johnston by any means. And Tina Hausmann did get by. Pato Award 4th position. .9 seconds is the margin between Hansen and Lopez, but time is running out. Lopez is going to get another couple of points out of this. But what a drive from Antonio Felix DaCosta again, from pole position. Found himself back into the lead once the stops were completed after the first round. He just put out a big margin. He never backed off since. Sean McVern in 7th place for Force India. He's got Philip Hansen closing in him, as is Jose Maria Lopez. Line comes Verne. And DaCosta is coming up to lap Philip Albuquerque for the second time. 1 lap to go then for DaCosta, who's had a good day again. It's going to be a 3rd podium finish in a row, including the one he had picked up at Hockenheim where he had won. No one could really lay a hand on him. It's been that sort of performance again for team manager Ewan Gale. It was a pity that Kevin Magnussen had retired early on. I wasn't worried as to whether that would affect DaCosta as well, but not quite so today. He's not far from the flag now. Just 5 more corners and the checker flag will be in sight for the man who's about to make it a record equaling 8th Grand Prix World Series victory to go level with the 2-time Grand Prix World Series champion Scott Dixon. He's going to throw himself into the championship fight, that's for absolutely sure, to within 3 points of the leader Kevin Estre. Antonio Felix da Costa wins the League One Brno Grand Prix. It's a second win of the season for the Fonmetal pilot. It's the third of the campaign for the team overall. Robin Fines finishes second for Arrows, and Felix Rosenquist will make it 2 Arrows drivers on the podium. A good day again for team manager Topher Smith. Scott Dixon, over half a minute behind the race winner, keeps himself in the running with a 4th place finish. And Scott McLaughlin will hold on to 5th, but there will be a battle on the last lap between the likes of Verne, Hansen and Lopez. That's what we want to be going to. There is Alex Palou. Hansen is still ahead of Lopez at the moment. Verne should be able to hold on to P7. We'll see some of the back markers crossing over the line. McLaughlin will finish 5th for HRT. Van Don a strong 6th for Carlin. A brilliant day for him here in Brno. But we want to go to Verne, Hansen and Lopez. Now, can Lopez go for it and get by Hansen before this race is over? Verne will hold on to P7, that's for sure. It's just whether Lopez has got enough in there. Is it enough straight for him to pass Hansen? Seals stay in 9th position. It's a win for Antonio Felix da Costa in Brno. He throws himself into the championship fight. Robin Fines 2nd, Felix Rosenquist in 3rd place, Scott Dixon in 4th ahead of his compatriot Scott McLaughlin in 5th, Stoffel Van Don in 6th for Carlin ahead of Jean-Luc Verne in the Force India, Philip Hansen recovering to 8th in the BAR ahead of Jose Maria Lopez, who gets a couple of important points for Prost in 9th, and Pascal Wehrlein taking the final point in 10th position for Minardi. Tina Hausman just missing out on points in 11th. That's a great effort from her ahead of Igor Fraga. Pato Award 13th. Sebastian Buemi, Louis Foster, Oliver Rowland, Rio Hirakawa, Alex Palou, Tom Coronel, and Philip Albuquerque with the rest of the finishers. Philip Albuquerque finishing 2 laps down on today's race winner. The drivers that did not finish: Rafael Marciello, Linus Sundqvist, Kevin Estre, the championship leader pulling out for the first time this campaign, Jake Dennis, Kevin Magnussen, and Christopher Bell. 6 drivers failing to finish. The pole position and fast lap points going in the way of today's race winner, Antonio Felix da Costa. It's down to 3 points. Kevin Estre still leads the way, but his first non-finish of the campaign has opened things up in the title fight. And with da Costa getting that win, it's down to 3 points, with Robin Fines and Felix Rosenquist and Scott Dixon as well all closing in. We've got a 5-way battle for the title now. It really is hotting up between those in contention. We've got 7 rounds to go. Can anyone stop Kevin Estre? Well, it's very much game on now in the Drivers' Championship. In the Teams' Championship, Onyx still lead the way, but Arrows and Fonmetal have all closed in. It's time to run down on the Drivers' and Teams' Championships in the voice of Topher Smith, and we'll be back for the next round in Brno in a couple of weeks' time. Topher, over to you.
The record is tied. Victory today for Antonio Felix da Costa puts him on to 8 wins in the Grand Prix World Series, level with Scott Dixon. So who will end with the most wins come season's end, I wonder? What a drive it was from da Costa today, fully deserving of their victory, and a good day for the Arrow squad with 2nd and 3rd on the podium as well. But what has this race done to the drivers and team standings? Well, I can tell you it has closed things right up as we look at the driver standings. 12 points separates the top 5. Kevin Estre on 113, Antonio Felix da Costa on 110, Robin Fines on 106, Scott Dixon on 105, and Felix Rosenquist on 101. Turning into a bit of a 5-way fight for the Drivers' Championship this season, but not too far behind them are the likes of Scott McLaughlin on 83, Kevin Magnussen on 78, Christopher Bell on 62, Rio Hirakawa on 59, and Nicholas Latifi, despite missing a couple of rounds now, still in the top 10 on 46. I don't know about you guys at home, but I'm getting really excited for how this Drivers' Championship is shaping up in League 1. 12 points separating the top 5. What a season this is turning into. And before we say goodnight, let's take a quick look at the teams as well. The gap has closed between Onyx and Arrows. 218 plays 207 as it stands. But Fon Metal, with their victory today, moves closer to that championship fight. 188 points for the Italian team, and they are well and truly getting themselves into this championship picture now. HRT 4th on 145, ahead of Minardi on 101. BAR on 65, Force India on 58, Carlin on 40, Ram Racing on 34, and Andretti on 31. And still occupying the relegation spots, Prema Racing on 22, Prost on 16 now, having picked up a couple of points today, and Simtech propping up the field on 8. Well, what a day this has been in Brno in the Czech Republic. 2 fantastic races, and we are set for a really exciting run-in to the end of the season. Just a few more rounds left to go, and we can't wait to see who will emerge victorious, not just in the races, but in the championships as well. But until the next race from Brno in Estonia, thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have your company. I'm Topher Smith. Take care.